students for computational gastronomy? Raise your hands. Wow. Listen, if I put you guys in a kitchen which is preparing meals for 1,000 people and they're screaming all over, have you seen Hell's Kitchen by Gordon Ramsay? No? You should, I think, watch. How will you feel if you're put in that pressure of kitchen and you're asked to pick up food and do everything? How will you feel? Huh? Sorry?
Can't do that.
Can't do that way? Anybody else?
Intimidated.
Thank you. That's exactly how I'm feeling right now. Talking about computational gastronomy. Because chefs of my generation think itne pade hote to yahan hote. Sorry, I don't want to be a stand-up comedian. But the fact is that, if we talk about the human race, when we started, even as cavemen, when we were not introduced to the fire, we started processing data from them. We picked up a food, we ate, we said it's bitter, and we threw it away. Somebody might have picked up something, eaten, and died. So that data was not recorded. But today, that instinct, even in animals, when they pick up food, they actually decide whether they want to eat it or throw it away. So somehow that data thing has been with us from day one that we were born. And even as kids, you will see that they're so, they like so much drinking either a Pepsi or a chocolate, and they grow up with that taste bud somehow. And I don't know where do they pick it up from, but those are, I think, maybe something psychologically also built in when they were in the mother's womb. So food has a very deep connection to even our psychology actually. And when the question was asked that will computers be able to replace chefs, and I think to be a successful chef, you need actually two things. Can you tell me what are the two most important things that a chef would need? Skill will come. If you have the will, you'll get the skill. Creativity. Two broader things I would say is knowledge and wisdom. Can somebody differentiate between knowledge and wisdom?
Knowledge is earned and wisdom is application.
Well, great. I will break it down into food. Knowledge is knowing tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in fruit salad. So I think that's amazing what a science can do is to bring the whole lot of ingredients onto our plate and then we do the combinations and stuff like that. And it's great that the computer actually does that food pairing and everything, which is immaculate. If we talk about basic principles of eating, and the Indian Ayurveda was so advanced even then, they had the food pairings in mind and they exactly knew how to eat and what to pair. If today we eat khichdi, the first thing that you miss when you're just eating a khichdi is a papad. And the reasoning behind it? Because Ayurveda says that to be able to relish a food, all your five senses, actually the sixth sense, which is now the umami, but five senses in your body have to be satisfied. It is the sight. So the food has to look good, smell, touch, and that's the reason why we eat with hands. And there's also a reasoning for it. And I'll talk about eating habits, okay. There is taste, of course, you can't take that. Fourth one, the sound. The sound is equally important. So if you're having a plain khichdi, which is so soft, you miss that sound of the crunch, and that papad gives you that sound, which satisfies you. Ever heard people crunching on onions, crispy onions? You naturally feel hungry at times, because that is the sound component in the food. So I'll be glad, I'm here as a chef, and I really did not know anything about computational gastronomy until I met Professor Bagler in one of the IIIT conferences, and I was really, that really set a lot of different thoughts in my mind, that what would this science particularly do to chefs? Like he said, co-pilot. I think it's an amazing thing, and I would really think that this will help chefs to create new recipes. I knew about the term biological computation or microbiological computation or something, which basically it started with things analyzing the tissues that cause the cancers and how they were going to be mapped, etc. On some process called Newton, something. So I was seeing all those things, which is beyond a chef's thing. We concentrate on chopping, which is called the mise en place, and then largely cooking. And in those kind of things, actually, we miss out on these smaller things where we have to retract from that busyness and really start thinking that, yes, why were these food pairings made in the first place? We eat rice and chole, rice and rajma in India, but also in Mexico, they have chili con carne, which is, again, lamb or chickpeas or same refried beans, which is almost like rajma, paired with rice. So there are some combinations which are die-hard combinations. And I'm sure that, our rishis, our saints, they really thought about those combinations that what pair best. About certain amount of proteins that you need in your body. So if you're having only lentils, there's only certain types of proteins that you're getting. And your body needs around, only few amino acids, and rest body is capable of producing of its own. So those are kind of, the food pairings, etc., which were very, very scientific in nature. And food is really about art and science together. And science, I would say, all three streams. There is chemistry in food, which we cannot deny. There is biology in food, right? There is lactobacillus acidophilus that makes yogurt. So there is definitely biology in food. There is physics in food. The kneading of the dough, the motion. We, for example, in a regular flour, you don't have gluten. You actually have two different types of protein, which is called the glutenin and the gliadinin. But when you combine these two with water and start kneading it, it forms a third protein called gluten, which people are allergic to, right? And it's a disease called celiac disease. But can people eat raw flour in that case? Will it impact? So I don't know. Maybe the science, maybe the biology has to help us there. So really, I'm really amazed at what you're doing, sir, with seeing all the data, etc. And I think the next level of this really would be, I think that probably we are only in the whole world. We are only knowing so much of recipes. But with computational gastronomy, with the data fed in, we actually will be able to do probably 20 times more of creating various different new recipes altogether. And then I think the way forward would be, and I'm sure that Professor Bagler has already thought about it, and it's in his mind, and he's taking baby step at a time. But I really feel, as a chef, that a time will come when on a computer you would say Japan and Amritsar. Japan and Amritsar. And you would want to type Japanese ingredients to create an Amritsari dish. And that will be a possibility, trust me.
We call it cuisine fusion.
I told you, it is in his mind because he is Professor Bagler.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Listen, I'm open to any questions if you have.
First,
Yes,
let's give a big round of applause.
So first of all, thank you so much for giving such an insightful talk. You completely changed your field,
Yes.
from being a neurosurgeon to this particular chef. So what was that passion and did you ever come across what the society, family and other people stop you from changing your field and being a neurosurgeon to a chef? So
Thank you. Listen, I aspired to be a neurosurgeon. I gave my joint entrance examination and I got through engineering. I had no choice but to do an engineering for 1.5 years. And then I gave exams of, again, hotel management because somebody said, थोड़ा खाना पकाना होता है, थोड़े बर्तन मांजने होते हैं और आपका सारा दिन टाइम होता है. And for that reason, I joined. And the thing is, I'm sure that, chefs of, senior to me who I look up to will beat me after this. But in my generation, if you wouldn't do anything else, you would join hotels. It is a scare that we grew up with. Our parents used to tell you, पढ़ ले, नहीं तो किसी होटल में बर्तन मांजेगा या खाना पकाएगा. And all thanks to the celebrity chefs coming on television, Chef Sanjeev Kapoor, Vikas Khanna, they've so popularized our profession that today when I interview youngsters, 80% of them want to join kitchens because they all want to come on television. So that's why I joined hotel management, because I wanted to become a doctor. So I joined hotel management thinking I will have a lot of time and I'll prepare for my medical ventures. But I really think that the medical profession and kitchen profession is very similar. There are new innovations every day. You have to keep yourself updated. You have to be a student all your life. You can never say I've mastered everything. And new innovations come in, new technologies come in, new ingredients come in. So I think it's really very, very similar. Yeah, thank you.